It have not. Party people. Party people. Hey, everybody. Listen, let me tell you what, it's going to be a time tonight. If you can hear me, put a one in the chat somewhere. If you can hear me, put a one in the chat somewhere. God's about to do some things because the way we are here fighting with what they say, Al Gore's internet or Beyonce's internet, somebody's internet is being fought with, and we gonna win today.
Absolutely.
Okay? Listen, I got my war clothes on. I really got on my war clothes because I know that Janelle's gonna choose violence tonight. And I feel like I just had to be prepared because Dr. Mo ran up on me with the two-piece yesterday and I was unprepared. So let me officially get this party started. I am Natia L. Joyner. I am a beauty business coach and a help to all creatives. I helped overwhelmed creatives and beauty pros recalibrate their life and their income so that they can live a life of freedom, faith, and fulfillment. And this is the Be Well Challenge. This challenge is brought to us by Call to Beauty Recalibrated, which is my online program for beauty professionals and service providers, helping them recalibrate their life and their income through self-discovery, understanding how to embed who they are into their brand, and then to be able to create products and services and all the fancy things to be able to build a six-figure business. But tonight, we talking about money and our finances, and it's gonna be a time. You guys, let me just tell you, it's gonna be a time because we have with us none other than Janelle Bettis. Y'all give it up, throw it in the chat. Let me see your hands clapping. Let's see all the things. Let's clap it up while we are clapping her up. Make sure you share this with somebody. Don't be selfish. Okay, we want to be well together. As I stated last night, for those of you who may not have seen last night, we talked about how this got started. Is that I started putting out content for Call to Beauty, trying to be obedient to God, and people started. The way I went at it was to talk about how to interact with clients, how to have great conversations, and then people started asking me, praise God, to have conversations about it. And then when I thought about it, like, how do you begin to have great conversations with clients? And the reality of it is it's the Holy Ghost. But you need to have resolve within yourself. And I wonder to myself, how many of my fellow entrepreneurs, my fellow beauty professionals, and my friends and family and my loved ones, how many of us are good? Like if somebody walked up on us and said, "Hey, are you good? Are we really good?" And then we need a wellness check to do that. And I brought in the goons. Okay. And I praise God because that means I rolled pretty deep. Okay. Because I brought out the experts at the matter. God be praised. I've been able to build my business to six figures. Let me tell you, I have to give all of those six figures to Janelle and say, fix it. Make it right. What do I do with that? How am I supposed to, what? Who and what now? Janelle Bettis with Bettis Financial is our expert for today to get our money health, our financial wellness all the way gathered. Go get your edge control, put your scarf on because your edges will be snatched in Jesus' name. Because she is filled with the Holy Ghost. And that's the kind of people you want to have interacting with you and your business and your brand. So tonight we're talking about money. But I'm going to let Janelle introduce herself. Janelle, go ahead and introduce yourself, babe.
Well, hey everybody. Thank you so much, Natia, for having me on tonight. My name is Janelle Bettis. I am the CEO of Bettis Financial. We're a financial services firm that specializes in helping you to change your money story. And what does that mean? That means we help you manage your money, whether you are a business owner, you're a service provider, you're a beauty professional, or you're just an individual that says, hey, I want to get my money right. I really want to take control of my finances. We help you do all those things. So in layman's terms, I am an accountant and a finance coach. So whatever financial questions you have, I can answer those questions. So I'm excited to be here with Natia on tonight. Oh, just so you know, I've been in finance for over 13 years because sometimes people need to know who you're talking to, right? So it means I have a lot of years of education, a lot of years of seeing people in different financial situations. So there are no crazy questions in finance. That's one of the first things that I tell anybody. No crazy questions in finances. You don't know what you don't know. But the things is that you take what you do learn on tonight and you apply that to where you want to go in your finances. So
I told y'all we have GOAT status carrying on happening out here. Okay, so we're gonna talk about first. We're gonna jump right into it because we've been fiddling long enough. All right, so I asked Janelle to talk to us first about some of the things. How do we know if we're good with our money? What are some indicators that we're not quite good with our money? And when we're talking about money, I want to make sure that we give the full context of what's happening. A lot of times, y'all, we get stuck in this spot of like, right now, or we go way into the future. And I believe that there's a whole thing that needs to happen. Yes, we need to be amazing stewards of where we are right now. But then I believe that God wants us to make more money. I truly believe that in all of me. I believe that God does not want us out here struggling, and He doesn't want us to just have money and have wealth for ourselves. I really believe that he wants us to take it to the next level. So when we're talking about money tonight, we're talking about all things money. Okay, we're talking about money mindset. We're talking about our bank account. We're talking about our future bank account. We're talking about our next week bank account. Okay, all of the things. All right, so Janelle, go ahead, dear.
Okay, so the first thing before we even get into talking about money, you need to take a deep breath.
Ooh,
So any preconceived notions or things that you have concerning your finances, the first thing that I tell you is that you have to understand where you are, right? And sometimes as people, beauty pros, service providers, wherever you are, insert wherever you are, sometimes the hard part of doing a wellness check-in concerning your money is facing the reality of where you are. Okay. So once you face the reality of where you are, then we can begin to put in an actual system or strategy in place that allows all of the things that you desire to do. Like, so for instance, we look at where you are right now. That's the assessment. Take a detailed look at how are you spending your money? What is your mindset concerning where you are financially? Do you have a fear of money? Because that is actually a real thing. Are you fearful of money? Are you fearful if your bank account goes below a certain amount? Do you spend your resources when you first get them? Because that is also a thing, you know? So taking some real inventory of how you manage your money before we even are able to move forward to how are you going to do it in the future. We can't even think about the future right now currently because we got to face the reality of where we are right now. And although that may not be where you desire to be, owning where you are right now gives you the ability to make sure that as you move forward in your finances, that the wealth and the riches that we always like to quote, that's stored up for the righteous, that you will be in a place to actually receive it and manage it and steward it how God has intended you to. Okay. So that's the first key to this, right?
Yeah.
Before we can even get to the point of what I'm gonna do as a millionaire, right? Or maybe my goal was to make 6 figures this year, or maybe I want to make 500,000, whatever that goal is, right? Because some of us can't even think beyond the where we are right now, or even what that looks like, because the reality of where our finances are not in the best place.
Jesus.
And when our money isn't in the best place, can we be honest? We don't emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, we're not in the best place when our money's not in order. There's a sense of control that we feel like, man, things are all out of whack. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where my money's going. Some of the famous things that people like to say, I got to rob Peter to pay Paul, and all these different things that we tend to say concerning finances are what we begin to implement in our day-to-day life. So when we get ready to sit down and do things like do your budget, right? The first thing our mindset tells us is that there's no point for me to do this because I'm not going to have enough at the end of the day, right? So then every time I get ready to have some type of interaction concerning my money, that narrative that I have now told myself that I don't have enough begins to operate in my life. So then when I look at my bank account, first thing you say, I don't have enough. When I do my budget, I don't have enough. Oh, when I try to save, I don't make enough money to save. Oh, when I try to put a financial strategy into place, oh, my finances not in the best place, so the strategy not going to work. So everything that we begin to tell ourselves from where we are, because we sometimes we will look at our finances from the place that we are in right now, and we allow that to dictate what we're going to do with our finances. So if my reality says that my finances are not well, then I will not put a strategy in place to get me to that next level. Why? Because I have now ran with the narrative that I'm not going to ever have enough. I'm not going to get to the place that I desire to get to concerning my money. Why? Because when I look at it from the eyes of my reality right now, it doesn't add up. But no part of that is faith. If we're a believer, right? So one of the first things that I would tell you is to own where you are right now concerning your finances. All of it. So every mistake, good, bad, everything that you didn't manage, everything that you put off because you just wasn't sure, or you just didn't have the proper education or knowledge, or even the right wisdom or the strategy to manage it how you wanted it to, because sometimes we'll stay there. We will allow ourselves to experience guilt and shame and condemnation concerning our finances. And then what ends up happening is we allow it to pile up to a place where it looks so bad that we feel like there is no hope to get me out of the place that I'm in. Right? So the first thing we do is we assess where we are and we own the reality of where we are. Okay? Assess where you are and own the reality of where you are. And that's not always easy, but it's necessary if you are going to get to where you desire to be financially. We have to first acknowledge where we came from, and then we recognize, okay, I acknowledge where I am. I decide now, where am I going to go from here? Right? So I'm giving you very practical things that you can take tonight and implement first thing tomorrow. I'm going to assess where I am. After I've assessed where I am and I've accepted my reality, the next thing I need to do is, where am I going? Where do I desire to be well concerning my finances? Where do you desire to be? Because those are real questions that you have to ask yourself. It's not enough to say, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, what are you going to do with the millions when it comes in? What's going to be your plan? Because the same things that you do right now can be an indicator of what you will do with more. Sometimes the answer is not getting more in, right? Sometimes the answer is just stewarding what you have right now and getting a good system in place and managing that. And then when the more comes, I know exactly what to do. Why? Because I have been reworking every single month what I'm doing with my money when it comes in. Okay, I don't have to think about or question, dang, what did I spend my money on? Ain't nothing worse than knowing that you had a great month as a business owner, and you look at your profit and loss statement, or you look at your bank account and you say, where the money went?
Yeah.
What happened to it? I know I made the money, the hours, the hours you don't put in, the time that it took, all the things, and say, I know I paid my main bills, but where the rest of it go? Right? And so a lot of times what ends up happening is that there is no actual strategy that is put into place concerning the finances. So when it does come in, if I don't have the right money habits in place, then I'm going to spend it before I get it. Right? Because we do that. Then I'm going to let my narrative be, oh, I worked too hard, so I deserve whatever I just want to spend my money on. Right? Can we be honest? That's what we say. That's what we say. Trust me. These are things that I have said to myself. I don't work all these hours, and surely I got a client that say, I deserve a treat. Well, sometimes, depending on where your goals are and what you're wanting to do, you may not get a treat every time you get paid.
Ooh, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Okay.
So that may look like being mindful, practicing money mindfulness. Looks like I am going to make sure that when I spend my money, that it aligns with my personal and my spiritual values concerning my finances.
Wow. Wait, I can't breathe. Wait. Everybody, y'all know the drill. Breathe in, breathe out. That thing said your personal and spiritual values concerning your money. Baby, do I even have them? Do I have values, Lord? I don't even know anymore because I got personal values. Do I have personal values concerning my money? Do I have spiritual values beyond tithing? Because I told you she was going to choose violence. Go ahead. Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is how you know what you value. Look at your bank account. Take a good look at your statement and see where your money's going. What you spend your money on will tell you what you value. Okay? So if it's a lot of eating out, you value eating out.
Why you gotta say that first?
I'll just say, we're just going there. If you value shopping, then you're gonna see a lot of shopping on there.
Yeah.
But if I say that my values right now line up with that I desire to save money because I want to build up a storehouse technically in my finances, then I'm going to see more transfers going over to my savings account than I'm going to see money going out. Why? Because I've set my values to be in alignment with my money and where I desire to be spiritually and financially. So I want to make sure that the things that I say that I want are not just things that are I lost my word, but monetary things like
a house, a car.
Yeah. So if these are the things that I say that I want, then when I'm looking at my bank account, something should be in alignment with what I say that I desire. But if it's not, then I have to allow myself to reset and say, what do I value in this season?
Yeah.
Because the seasons look different. You may have seasons where you do have to spend out a lot more because you may be building a product line, or you may be trying to move into a new location, or you may have to do some revamping because the vision in your business has changed and you need everything to match. So I'm having to spend out a little bit more money to make sure that things are in alignment with where I'm going. But again, it's in alignment with what I value. And so I can justify when I look at my account and say, hey, I know this month I spent a little bit more money than what I normally would. But when I look back and I'm looking at my budget and I'm looking at my strategy and I'm looking at, hey, this is what I value in this season, then everything should be cohesive and it should match.
Breathe in. Breathe out. This is a sobering word tonight. It's a sobering word. It's helping.
That's what they say. Is this helping?
It's helping the people, child, because it's helping me. Because the thing is, I know how much I generate. The expenditure is where I lack the discipline to accurately account for. And another problem that I know that I run into is the mindset of, oh, I can make that back real quick. I spoke a little bit about that this morning. Like, when you're in different phases in your journey of business and entrepreneurship, you may be at the beginning like, oh my, I don't have enough clients. And, it's from a place of lack, right? And then you get to the part where if you're not really healed from poverty issues and things like that, then you have the fear of lack, or you run into a situation where you blow cash because you know you can make it back. I need to reevaluate my entirety right now. Like my entire life. Okay, so child, child. Yeah, that's sobering. That's really, really sobering. All right, all right. So let's talk about the concept of what could, let's say that we got that part. We thrown up, sweated all the bullets, ate all the extra ice cream because we sat down and dug through our bank statements, which is a real thing. I had to do it multiple times, especially when purchasing my home.
Yes.
They want to see, they're going to pull that kind of information. So having to see, one, we're going to go real deep real fast and come back off of it, what your idols are.
Yes.
The things that you really are in love with, those you have to get, those things have to show up in front of your face, but it's good because you get to cast them down after you realize that the food monster wrecks me. So after I've assessed where I am and I've laid out where I want to be, what is the next step? After I've laid out where I want to be, can we talk about the mindset of more, or how we can begin to develop the real tenacity for why we should make more money and how we need to do that?
Okay. So when you want to develop a mindset that says, hey, I want to make more money, you got to first believe it, right? It's not enough just to say, oh, I want to make more money. But if I say, I'm going to make more money, there's a level of boldness and confidence that comes from saying, I'm going to make more money versus saying, I am making more money. Right? And the more that I say that, especially verbally out loud, and I affirm that every single day, I am making more money, or money finds me daily. I don't have a problem with money. Money is always flowing to me. Managing my money is easy. Whatever you have to say, because you are making sure that your words are in alignment with where you are going, then as you start to see the money comes in, you'll start to notice, man, my mindset of when the money hits my account changes. So the need for me to feel like I have to go ahead and spend it, or I have to hold on to it and maybe hoard it and not move forward with it, those things begin to change. Why? Because I am moving from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Oh boy.
And so scarcity says, I won't have enough. I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have these limitations, or I'm gonna have a fear that I'm gonna run out of money. And that's usually how entrepreneurs run their business, from a scarcity place. I know I'm gonna make the money back, spend it there, I'm gonna make it back. That's, you're operating from a place of scarcity. But when I operate from a place of abundance, I'm saying that I have more than enough resources and opportunities lined up to do everything that I'm called to do in my business, in my home, in my purpose, all of these different things. And money is not going to be the means that stop me from being able to move forward in the things that I'm supposed to do. Why? Because faith is the currency of the kingdom. The world's currency is the dollar bill, right? But when we take on a kingdom mindset and we operate from that place, we operate at a level of faith, and our faith is able to be elevated in a place of abundance, that when we move forward with the things, that even if it doesn't line up or look right, we still move forward with it because we are operating out of place of faith. And in this place, I'm able to start to make sure that the things that I desire concerning my finances are in alignment. So that's going to look like setting goals. I know that's really, really basic, but many of us do not set realistic financial goals. Will say, oh, I want to make $100,000 this month, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if my business is not in that place, then when I get ready, that I get to the end of the month and I see that I didn't achieve that, now I'm telling myself, man, I failed because I didn't achieve it. Mm-hmm. or I'm not really sure how I'm gonna make this happen because things didn't work out. So set those goals realistic. So even if you got to put some on there that you know you can achieve, just so that you build your confidence,
Yeah.
because finances is made up of two things. You need a strategy, but you also need confidence, right? And so in me having the confidence of how I'm managing my money, I'm going to put some things on there that say, hey, I want to be consistent with doing my budget every month. So I may make that one of my financial goals. And the next thing I may say, hey, I want to not eat out every day this week. Yeah. If eating out is your thing, I'm not saying completely cut it out, because your lifestyle may be set up in a way where that may be what works. But there may be somewhere in your day or your week that you can say, okay, I'm not going to eat out Tuesday and Thursday this week. And if you do that, guess what? You have now achieved a financial goal of yours that you can celebrate. And so what we have to do is we got to get in a habit of celebrating our financial wins. And so when we tell you to set the financial goals, we want to make sure that you have a financial win that you can celebrate. Why? Because every time you have something to celebrate concerning your finances, your mind says, hey, I want to do that again. There are the narrative, just like you have the positive and the negative mindset. The more positive things that you have concerning your finances, the more it's going to encourage you and actually push you forward in doing the things that you say that you want to do concerning your money. And so we have to learn to staff our life with those things that are going to continue to keep us encouraged. Why? That's why we call it a financial journey, right? Because the journey is going to continue to change and evolve. There are going to be months that things go great. It's going to be months where things don't go so well. But in all of it, it's an opportunity to learn how you manage your money. So I can tell you different strategies, different tools, different resources you can use and aid you in your journey. But you still have to be the learner of your own money story. Okay. And so in that, you set your goals, and then you have to decide where you're going from here. Do I want to learn something new concerning my finances? So that may be, if you know that you're struggling with money management, then that may mean you need to take a course on how to properly manage your money. You may need to sit with a coach or an accountant and ask those questions and say, hey, what strategies will work for me? This is what my lifestyle looks like. This is where I want to be. This is what I desire to do. And then we craft out a plan that gets you to that place so that every single month, you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Some people just really need accountability, in all honesty.
That's a real word, a real cuss word, but a real word.
Some people need accountability when it concerns their finances. Why? Because they may have been taught how to manage money through seeing other people manage their money. For instance, I saw how my parents managed their money, and I took on what they did with their money. And as an adult, I did those same things. Yeah. Well, it wasn't until I figured out, hey, what I saw my parents do with their money doesn't work for me as an adult. So I had to make a decision that I need to learn something different, or I'm going to continue to run into the same issues that I saw my parents run into, because I don't have any other lessons, any other knowledge, or anything else to implement in that space. So now I'm operating my finances based off of the habits of other people.
The bad habits of other people.
I want to say, I ain't want to say, try to call your parents out, but
we're gonna say everybody else, the other people, people, not the parents, the other folks.
So we have to replace our habits that we have learned or maybe been told or taught unknowingly, and we got to replace it with something else. And that may look like I'm going to focus on one thing. Some people can only focus on one thing at a time concerning their finances. And sometimes that's the hard part with people, because you want to get to a place quickly that took you a long time to get to, right? So where you are right now concerning your finances, it didn't happen overnight. It's been a series of events and life that has happened to you that has you where you are concerning your finances. Yeah. But because you desire to do something different, obviously, because you're on this challenge, and you want to be well in your finances, after tonight, you're going to be a little bit more intentional with how you're stewarding your money and what that actually looks like. So after I've done my assessment, I've set my goals, and then now I'm going to make sure that my speech lines up with what I say that I want. And these are things that will start off strong. At the beginning of the year, everybody want to work out. Everybody's like, man, it's a new year. I'm going to get everything in order. And then slowly but surely, you start to fall off. Well, when it concerns your finances, this has got to be an area that you choose to be dedicated in. Yeah. So if there's an area that I don't have enough knowledge in, I don't want to make financial decisions based off of fear. And usually if you're fearful concerning something, it just means that you don't have enough knowledge or understanding of that subject or topic to make an informed decision that is going to support, again, go back to your values that you have concerning your money. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Girl, yeah. And then some. Jesus. Whew. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna try to hold it together. All right. So listen. One of the things I realized is she talked about more, right? And I remember I was teaching one of my online courses called Let's Build It. And at the very beginning, I asked this question. Kind of like what like kind of explaining like where are you right now? What you got going on right now? Then the next thing is to get in your mindset what the next level looks like. Like, what does the good life look like to you? Right. And people are like, oh, praise God. It was some folks like, child, I'm living the good life. I'm living the good life. And then I asked, what's the sweet life look like? Like, what's it's above where you are now. And it's really good. Like the good life, let's say the good life is just where all your bills are paid on time, right? The sweet life is where all your bills are you're paid off. Hold on, y'all. What's a lot happening? Janelle, can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear you. I can see you.
This is what happened when you don't turn yourself on. Do not disturb you. It's okay. Yeah. So I was like, the good life, all your bills are paid on time. Sweet life, all your bills are paid off. Like you're living, and you're not just living in a house that's paid off. You're living in the house that's paid off. You're driving the car you want, and you bought it cold cash. But then I always ask them, what does your wildest dream life look like? And they get so quiet. So when she said that you have to be able to believe, you have to be able to see that thing in your mind. She was preaching when she said faith is the currency of the kingdom. There's a lot of stuff you have to be able to see, and to see yourself in these things. Now, I have a quick question about how do we not get discouraged between what we see, and because I believe that a lot of us, we don't like dreaming because of disappointment. And we are running this issue of not being able to go after our dreams, or just kind of get into a place of settling because it's easier to sit in complacency. What do you think about that? What do you think? What do you think about that?
Okay, so how not to get discouraged, right? Mm-hmm. Because again, like I said earlier, when our finances aren't in the best place, it is easy to get discouraged because it hinders a lot of things that you do want to do. You may not be driving the car you want. You may not be able to go on the trips you want to do. You may not be able to hire that team member, or you may not be able to, pay yourself the salary that you feel like you deserve. There's a lot of different things that get held up when the finances aren't where they need to be, or it's not coming in how you would want it to be, and all of these different things. And so one of the things that I practice of not getting disappointed is I do a thing called money journaling.
Okay, let's talk about it.
So
I like the way that sounds.
it's money journaling. One of the things that you do is that may be a journal prompt for that day. I'm disappointed about my money because, and then you journal. Let all of those emotions out, let everything that you may be feeling concerning money, so that that disappointment doesn't keep you bound. Because what usually happens is, if I'm disappointed about my finances, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to make a decision that is not going to be in alignment with what I need to do concerning my finances. So for instance, if I have a financial need, I'm going to try to move forward and make something happen, whether that means I'm going to go out and use my credit cards. I'm going to go out and maybe borrow money. I'm going to go out and start making these impulsive, non-strategic financial choices. And then later on, after I've gotten through whatever it was I was trying to do, I'm left with all of the consequences of what that disappointment caused me to do.
Wow.
And so money journaling takes the emotion out of the financial choices that I'm about to make. So when I get ready to operate from whatever decision I need to make, my mind is clear, my heart is open, and I can be strategic in the next step that I need to do. And that may look like, hey, I need to consult with somebody to talk this through. Because if you're in a disappointed state concerning your finances, the hard place is coming out of that place. Because if I'm already in a place of lack or whatever it is that's happening, maybe I've been through a season where I'm hit with hardship after hardship after hardship, and I just feel like there is no end in sight. Well, one of the things is, it's like you go to counseling for your well-being. It's the same thing concerning your finances. Sometimes you have to go to somebody that specializes in it to help you to have the proper tools in place to manage the disappointment that you may be feeling. You may need some encouragement. In all honesty, you may just need prayer, because the enemy may just be after your finances in a way to get you distracted on what's coming ahead, that, hey, your breakthrough is about to be here. But if you are in such a low place and disappointed concerning your finances, it's going to be hard for you to even receive the good things that are to come. And so one of the ways, outside of money journaling, the next thing that I would recommend, if you're in a place and you're disappointed about your finances, I give myself maybe 15, 20 minutes. You get 20 minutes to be in your feelings concerning your finances.
Yeah.
And then after this, you got to make a decision to not continue to be in that place. So if I'm disappointed, I get 20 minutes to be disappointed. Minute 21, okay, how do I get back on the strategy that I have? What's causing the disappointment? Is it because I don't have enough? And if I don't have enough, then that means, okay, I may need some additional streams of income. What else can I do? Where else can I monetize in my life? Do I have stuff that I'm using that I don't necessarily need that I can get rid of? Am I subscribed to too many different things that for a season I maybe need to unsubscribe from everything to put more money back into my account? What's causing the disappointment? And then what steps do we need to take to manage where you are so that the disappointment doesn't come again?
It's the money journaling for me. It's the money journaling for me. But you just said something that listen, come on, alignment. This is definitely aligning with what Dr. Mo had to bless us with yesterday. Listen, so here's the thing. We did a thing, and I'm, because we'll use me. But in one of our sessions, we did something. It looked like money mapping to me. I don't know what it's called, but we started breaking down the different businesses that I have, and how much money they like, and start setting goals and giving strategy to to that. Can we talk about that a bit? You facilitated this. I don't even know how to begin to break it down. But if somebody wanted to try to figure some of this stuff, now let me tell you, what she's gonna tell you, you're gonna try to do it at home, and it ain't gonna work. Go ahead and book your consultation. But anyway, can we begin to talk about that? Because we want to make sure that we give the people, like, because this is something we do inside of Call to Beauty, with your help, of course. But can we talk about that so that people can begin to see that making money really isn't hard. Once you get past the mindset of it, then you're in a better place. But making money really isn't hard. Can we talk about money mapping for our businesses and our brands?
Yes. Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to do. Absolutely. Like you said, you could try it at home, but it ain't. You need my method to do it. But one of the things that you do is you look at what's the overall vision for your business. Where do you see it going? Where is it right now? Where do you see it in the next 3 years? Where is it in the next 5 years? Where do you want it to be in the next 10 years? The services that you started in year 1, you may not want to do in year 5. If you're a beauty professional, you may not always want to be behind the chair, right? So what does that look like in over a period of time? Then the next thing we're going to do is we need to monetize what you know and what you do, right? Because you've invested a lot of time in learning your craft, right? But then the other piece is that there have been things that have come into your business that you do very well. And every time somebody comes to you and say, can you do that for me? Can you do that for me? And sometimes the stuff that we do well, we don't even think about that. Hey, I can monetize this, right?
Yeah.
And so in that, then there's the strategy of, does it align with my vision? Because everything that we can monetize may not be alignment to your vision. So you don't want to be doing that anyway, right? But in that, we take all the things that you do and we put it on this board. And then from there, we do the process like Natia calls money mapping. So you may have one category that these are the services I want to offer. The next category, you may say, I want to do products. What products do you want to offer? Then the next category, you may say, I actually maybe want to do some teaching. And I want people to consult me about being a beauty professional. I want people to consult me about starting their own salon suite or whatever it is, right? And so these are all things that may not be implemented in your business now, but with the right strategy, you could go ahead over time and it's like a drip system. So once you've mastered this thing and we can see it, how we can determine if it's mastered by making sure that your books are updated and we can track what that service has been doing and how well it has been working. Then we input the next thing, right? The next thing would be, okay, now I want to add some products to it. Okay, so we've already assessed the cost of what the products are gonna take. But then the other thing is, when the pieces are all rolling together, you know exactly what you're doing. It's one of those things that having financial clarity in your business and where you're going is such a wonderful thing. It really brings peace of mind. You get to feel more fulfilled. You get to operate and doing the things that you want to do, and you making money doing stuff that you love.
Yeah.
Not just hustling, trying to make the next thing happen. It is a legit strategy that you got put in place that you're able to move forward. So not only is so equated to this, when you get ready to use your GPS to go somewhere that you've never been, it's the same thing with your money. And that's literally what we do. We map it out to phase 1 looks like this. Phase 2 looks like this. Phase 3, how many ever phases we need to get you to the financial goal. Your goal may be to make 100K or over that 500K. Well, what does that look like? Everything has a monetary value to it so that you can see how it all comes together.
Yeah, that's really, really good, because that then allows you to be able to, that's when your stream starts streaming.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm down for at least 7 of them, but the key to having multiple streams of income is your first stream got to stream.
Yes. First string, need to master the first string.
Master your first string so it can be streaming well so that you can, easily add in. We don't want to cause more stress. We don't want to add more burdens to what we got going on. But one of the things, and I guess I'll do a shameless plug in our commercial here for Call to Beauty, because one of the things that we do in Call to Beauty is really set things up to where you're not building random things to just add because you saw it on TikTok and you thought it'd be cool to do. That's not what we're doing. What we do is we first, because this is Call to Beauty Recalibrated, we are infusing who we are and we're creating products and services that have our DNA all up and through them. So like I started a candle line because I love calmnesses. Okay. I love the ambiance. I love for my home to smell good. And I like the calm energy. I started the Lock Maven because it was a real need for my clients. And the products that I kept running into, we kept running into issues. But they came from a real place and they came from a real need. And it wasn't just like, okay, I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna do that. Like, no, there are some things that you have that's just things that you see. I definitely believe that there are things that you see and you notice in the earth because you're going to be the one to solve the problem.
Yes.
And so in Cause of Beauty, this is something that we do around module 2. Module 1, we're hanging out with you. We're going to spend time looking at you, rediscovering your gifts and all that good stuff because you need to know who you are. That way you're not creating things that you don't love. You're not creating things that won't serve you longer than 10 minutes, right? So that you're not striving in a place. I remember I had a conversation with my pastor, Bishop Eric Hutton, who will be with us tomorrow. And I was in a really low place. My car had just been repossessed. I needed a place to work out of, and he's like, he's one of those people that guide you. He don't tell you what to do. And he was like, I hate this. I hate to even, because he loves for us to figure things out on ourselves. Self-discovery is better, or self-awareness is better. And what he said was like, for me to see, he was like, when you get into hair space, there are certain areas that God has graced us to be in. And when we get into those spaces, it's not laborious for us. It doesn't mean that ease does not mean easy per se. That grace doesn't mean that you're not going to have any difficulty, but there is something on you. There is a wind, there's a flow that happens when you get into certain spaces. You need to discover that. You need to know where your grace space is. And that's what we do in module 1. Module 2 is where we start validating your business ideas, right? And this is where we start doing a little money mapping because we need to know, okay, if I want to make, let's say I want to make $50,000 a month, right? Okay, so I have my hair business and I generate $10,000 a month just doing hair. Okay, what else can I add that's not going to add so much stress to me that's going to get me to that 10,000? Okay, so I added a candle line. So let's say my goal is to do $10,000 a month in candles. One, is that realistic? How can I get that done? This is then, and one of the things that I did with Janelle is we broke that down. How can I make this money?
Right.
In these different places. So that's going to be important. And then in module 3, what we start doing is start understanding branding and niching so that you can know who to sell to. Okay. Because that's important. Okay. Because you can't be selling to your auntie and your auntie don't even like candles. She allergic like my auntie. Like, it was so funny. The older we get in our family, the more we become allergic to stuff. And so my aunts and my mom and my cousins, they can't even handle scents, right? Like it breaks them out. So you need to know that. So I'm not selling to my mama and her kind because she's allergic to them. But let's say that you are allergic to things. So then maybe you want to create a product that does that. Anyway, and then in module 4, we start going into the crowning phase, which is where we start to actually show off and do the marketing and all that fun stuff. And then cultivation is where we are launching and refining our systems and loving on people. So guys, tomorrow we were going to open the doors for Call to Beauty Recalibrated, but we wanted to make sure we did that. So what I should have said was we about to open up for Q&A. So we're about to open up for Q&A. Drop your questions in the Q&A box. And on Facebook, I'm going to be checking it out. I do see some comments here. I'm going to run through real quick. I see one says, I have so many ideas that I think would be great business and ministry things to start. The problem is, I think I'm missing the rest of it. Facebook is being rude. I come up with the ideas, but I don't know how to execute them. Help. Okay. So, Janelle, you want to take that one first, or you want me to take a stab at it? I'm gonna read it again so I can make sure I read it with quality. I have so many ideas that I think would be great business and ministry things to start. The problem is I come up with these ideas and I don't know how to execute them. Help.
So first thing I would say, and I like to get a whiteboard or just a piece of paper and put it on the wall. I put every single one of those ideas on the wall, right? Because just because it's a good idea doesn't always mean that it's a God idea. Right? We are creative people, and we always coming up with ideas. There's always stuff to do. But there are things that you will find in all of those ideas that you have. They mirror each other, or they may be complementary of one another. So for instance, I'll use my own business, right? So in my business, I do of course I do finances, but I also have a Bible study that deals with faith and finances, right? So instead of me thinking like, oh, well, I should go over here and do this ministry piece, and I should go over here and I should be helping people with stuff, those things, they work together.
Yeah.
Right. So they're when you have something, when you're someone and you have a lot of ideas, and is like business and ministry, there are things that God gives us that are specifically for the marketplace. But sometimes we try to do this thing where we separate ministry and marketplace stuff when they go hand in hand. What you do in ministry, you do in the marketplace. It just looks different in certain situations. But you take all those ideas, the ones that you feel the most called to right now, you're going to pull off the paper. Okay. And then you're going to put those onto just a regular notebook. And then from there, you start to see which one are you supposed to be doing right now. And that's where I would start. Start with one. And then as you continue to move forward with the one, you'll start to see how the other ones begin to build out together.
Yeah, I have a very similar strategy. I call it brain dumping, or idea dumping, and I do it on index cards. And I take index cards and I write them out. Now, when you're writing them out, you're not putting them in order. Like, you're not trying to categorize it. You're just getting it out. So an example would be coloring book, a planner for women, a candle, a wax melt, online class, candle making party, a online coloring book app, and I'm just literally dumping stuff out. Hold on, the enemy trying to attack my computer, y'all. Hold on one second. The devil ain't gonna get my technology today. Hold on. Trying to disrupt. The devil can, and I don't like it. But we got power, huh? Come on, somebody say plug into the sword. Plug into the sword.
Plug into the sword.
Plug into the sword, because the enemy tried to try me just now. Woo! Father, I'm tired of this. Okay, that mangy devil, get about my house. Okay, yeah. So I take index cards and I write everything out. What I then do is, like what she said, that there are things that are similar, and I then put them together with things that are kind of alike. So coloring book app, they can go together. A journal, that might be possibly able to go together. Maybe not. Who is it for? What's the purpose of it? And then one thing to do is to go back. And this is something we do inside of Call to Beauty, is that when in that first chapter, or the first module, where we're talking about, who you are, we're going to establish your values and your mission. And the reason that's going to be important is because, like Janelle said, there's going to be ideas that come to you, but they're actually not for you. They're not for your brand because they don't align. So the Call to Beauty, God gave me the scripture, Isaiah 61. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he has anointed me to free, I used to know by heart, y'all, brain's going crazy, to bring the good news to the poor, to bring sight to the blind, to set the captives free, blah, blah, blah. That's the mission of Call to Beauty. Okay, that's the mission to Call to Beauty. So in that, is this idea opening up blinded eyes? Is this idea setting the captives free? There is one part of the scripture that, and when I was thinking of Be Well Challenged, it literally was like the same words. Like it was like, well, I don't know what it was, but it was important. But that's one of the things that I have to do. So when it comes to those ideas, you put them in their categories, and then I take them through 4 steps. Like, where are the resources for this idea? How long will it take for this idea to come to fruition? Who will it serve, and what's the impact of that idea? So, like, let's say, for example, we're talking about a candle making company. So I want, let's go to candle book, a coloring book, right? Because I want to make a coloring book. I really want to make a book. So the coloring book, right? So I'm looking like, okay, cool. I want to do a coloring book. How long will it take me to produce a coloring book? Well, okay, I may not know that yet. So the question may be, well, what are the resources that are required for this coloring book to come to fruition? Is it going to be, am I going to draw? Well, I don't know how to draw yet. So am I going to wait till I finish learning how to draw to create the coloring book? Well, then that adds a whole bunch of time to the timeline. Or am I going to find an artist to draw? So once I reach out to the artist and I get the consultation and I find that they charge $600 a sheet, then do I have the money for that? Right. And so that's how you begin to go through these ideas. And then there's sometimes God will just say, this is what you're doing now. This is it. You had your nice, pretty little plan. And he's like, yeah, that's going to be put on pause. This is what I need you to do now. Because there are some things, y'all, when you get to certain levels of prayer, you get to certain levels of business, God will begin to give you things for your future. Yes. So one of the things that I say is to write down all of your ideas. And Tiffany Montgomery said to treat them royally, because you don't know which one is going to grow up and be king. So we said a lot. So to try to sum that up, get all your ideas out of your mind, categorize them, see which ones are similar. Janelle added that some things that are for ministry and some things are for business. But there are things that overlap in ministry and business, but we're not selling prophecies in Jesus' name. Okay, we're not selling prayer in Jesus' name. But in my salon, that's ministry. When I serve my clients, but they pay me to do their hair. That makes sense. Yeah. And there will be times where things shift. Like I had Call to Beauty. Recalibrate Her, and Recalibrate Her was a business, a coaching business. But as things began to progress, Recalibrate Her is turning into a ministry. Now we're going to take another step further, because Janelle, I know, has helped out with other nonprofits and things like that. Your nonprofits need to make money. Yes. Okay. You need money for your mission. You need money for your mission, and your passion needs profit. Yes. So in that, you have to be able to know that these same ideas still need to be duplicated in your mission, in your money making with your nonprofit. Maybe next time we'll have Ashley Welch Davis on, who could talk to you about things that you sell not for profit, and things that you can sell for profit, but that it benefits your nonprofit. Right. That one was for free. Let me see if we got any more questions here. Where we at? Hold on. Okay, I need help with the nonprofit. Let's dig into what are some nonprofit but things that people need to have set up. So let's talk about that. I want to start a business. I want to start a nonprofit. What do I need to have financially set up? So one of the couple of things. So you got to legally make sure that you are set up as a for-profit or nonprofit, whichever direction you choose to go in. Make sure your legal structure is in place. But then the next piece, the most important piece after that, is your financial structure. So what are you going to do with the money that comes in, right? You know, you need a bank account, and it does not
And when I say you need a bank account, I'm not talking about a personal account that you call a business account. That's not what we're talking about here. I'm sure you know people that do that. You need an actual business account to be separate from your personal and your business finances, right? But then after that, the next step is you need an accounting system. And one of the things that I say, if you can't be your own financial expert in your business, hire one.
Yeah.
Okay, because the key here is whether you are a for-profit or nonprofit, you are accountable for the money that comes in. So if I'm a nonprofit, I have donors. I have people that is given into that nonprofit that at the end of the year, I have to produce a giving statement to account for what I did with the money that they gave me. If I'm for-profit, I still have to categorize and see where I spent my money, because again, the IRS wants to is going to tax me on that income that has come in, and I don't want to be guessing how much I made when it comes to the IRS. Okay, and so one of the things that people sometimes will bypass is that the importance of being set up financially. Why? Because it's how you don't, if you don't know if your business is making money, or you don't know how much money you're making, it's going to be hard to move the business forward, because you are making decisions on old data or no data at all. And you can't run a sustainable business with no data. Okay. And so I know we harping on that piece a long time, but I can't stress the importance enough to make sure that your finances in the business before you add, because